Hi friends, welcome to tonight's Thursday Toolbox training with squad goals and more. We have visitors from the East Coast, from the West Coast, from the Midwest. I'm super excited to have us all here together to join the amazing Sarah Walker tonight. When she said she would share with our group tonight about sharing and selling from the catalog, I was so excited, and I got a little sneak peek of what she's going to be sharing with us. So I'm even more excited for all of us to take some notes. Make sure you have your notepad and your pen. Get ready to be inspired and uplifted. We are going to turn it over to Sarah now so that she can get going because she has lots to share. So I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you, and you're
awesome. Yes, I have a ridiculous amount to share today. I've actually been working on some things with our team. So on the consultant development team, we have a lot of different trainings that we do for different groups, like if we come onto a group page or something like that. So this is one that Julie and I were working on, kind of based on an older catalog training that I did years ago when we would do like catalog walks. And I started to think through, like, I know there's been a lot of buzz with limited time offers, and I know I'm like not practicing what I preach right now because I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt because it's a huge LTO day, but I'm also a really big Star Wars nerd, so I'm just going to embrace it. But I really wanted to talk about catalog sales and catalog best practices. I think that over the last few years, especially with the pandemic and everything and us really throwing a ridiculous amount of LTOs your way, like I understand where the excitement has come from, and we've almost created that monster in a way. But I really wanted to just go back to basics. I think there's been a cry for back to basics because now that we're coming out of hyper growth, people are thinking, oh, I can't just post a link and people are magically going to buy from me. Like I need to do some work again. Or if they weren't here before hyper growth, they're like, I have to work now. This isn't just going to magically fall into my lap, and I'm not going to get PRV just by posting a link or a picture of a really fun thing anymore. So I wanted to revisit this catalog training that I had done a while ago, but really adds like a fresh take to it. So I'm going to do that with you today. I do have my notes up here. Hopefully I don't squirrel too much because I do have a lot to share, and I will give you a warning ahead of time. I talk really fast. So if I go too wild and crazy, just let me know. Also, just PSA, just kind of a pre-warning here. I have 2 dogs at home with me, and they're currently at my feet. They might bark. They might see a squirrel. Anything goes, really. But I have turned on airplane mode, so I have a lot of the Wi-Fi. I've kicked my kid off of his Xbox, so we should be good to go. So I'm just going to dive in. I have a ton of information. If there's something that stands out to you, if you're like, oh yeah, pop that in the chat so you guys can talk with each other for sure. And then I won't look at that right now because I will squirrel way too much and get distracted. So I want to make sure I get through everything, but then we can go back through if we have some time allocated after, or you guys know you can always reach out to me. My email is swalker, SWALKER, swalker@scentsy.com, or you can find me on Facebook. If anything like struck your fancy or like, wait, can you talk to me more about this? Happy to do that. So some of you may have been to World Tour where we talked about combining catalog and limited time offer programs and how they're really designed to work together to help you grow your base, to help you stay consistent. And then we've always had the conversation, well, especially in the last couple of years, about catalog versus LTO and people feeling really overwhelmed. Like there's so much to promote with LTOs, like I'm burning my customers out. How do I know what to share, what to not? I talked today on my Facebook Live about like our mind wallet and how we should not be spending our customers' money with our mind wallet. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have this money, so my customers don't either. And I know the economy is tight. People are struggling with bills and gas and food and all the things. And I'm not disputing that one iota. I'm just saying that there are circumstances and people make the choice of what they want to buy, what they can buy, and you can just provide that solution and have different budget-friendly options for whoever is buying, whatever their budget is. And I think that with catalog products, you have a lot more flexibility with that. So instead of feeling really overwhelmed with catalog or excuse me, with LTOs, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to promote. There's so many things. Like, do I buy Star Wars? Do I buy Bell? Do I buy all these things? And like, okay, so is that you? or is that your customer, or is it both? Because I'm a consumer too. It's totally fine. But so thinking about how the catalog can help solve the problem or solve the solution, be that solution provider to any budget issues or budget roadblocks that might come into the view. I think you'll have a little bit more flexibility with that and the different product recommendations that you can make. But also, I really want to talk about how important and vital the catalog is. Yes, those LTOs give us that burst of energy and really fun engagement. If you have a lot of customers who are really reliant and really fun fandom world out there with these limited time offers, but our catalogs are really designed to be that stable, sustainable source of revenue for you. Club is a huge thing. Obviously, like anytime we have LTOs, you can add those fragrances in with a club subscription. I'll get to that in just a second. I don't want to steal too much of my thunder and veer too far off my notes here. But when you think that catalogs drop twice a year, so you get it for 6 months and the catalog products are rarely selling out. So if you're kind of dealing with some high anxiety of sellouts, or your customers are, the catalog might be the way to go. It's consistent. They're only changing twice a year. So it can be a challenge to keep these products relevant if you're not doing really fun, engaging things to keep the interest of 6 months. But that's also assuming that your customers know the catalog as much and as in-depth as you do, which I would venture a guess is probably not the case. They don't know the catalog front to back like we do, and they're probably not recognizing what our cadence is. They just see your post like, oh crap, it's discontinued month, I can get this at 10%. But they may not know that it's March, and they may not know that it's, August, September. I'm just basing this on the last couple of years, how we fluctuated, but they may not know as much as we think they know. I think we give them a lot of credit and we make a lot of assumptions on their part. And so I just saw, yes, Sylvia, the sprinkles on the cupcake. So when you're thinking about limited time offers, and we shared a little bit about this at World Tour, where we said, quote unquote, that catalog is the bread and butter. And we've talked over the last few years about how the catalog is, think of it as like your main course, like your meat and potatoes, the protein, the veggies, the fruit, that sustainable, healthy main course part of your business. And then think of limited time offers as that sweet dessert, as that cupcake, that sweet, sugary burst of surprise and delight, that if you did that all the time, it's not sustainable. If you know that if you just think of your kids after Halloween and like they have that huge sugar rush and then they're done. And so it's not a sustainable, healthy way to build your business. But on the other hand, the catalog is. So where we have, your catalogs every 6 months, like I said, to a new customer who came in, 5 months into a new catalog, which is now going to be their discontinued or their last chance first glance. But if they're coming in months after the launch, the catalog is just as new to them as it was to you in March. Okay. And so when you think about that, like, how can you keep it relevant? How can you keep it exciting for you so you keep that energy up? But also know that for every customer who comes in, number one, they're not going to know our cadence as well as we do. Number two, they're probably not going to be as familiar with all the products and the bundling options and the pricing options, the gifting idea options that are in there. And number three, they could come in months into the launch. And so if you're like, today nothing's really going on, and you're not sharing the catalog, they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. So try to think of a way to really be strategic and plan out how you're promoting the catalog, but also keeping in mind those limited time offers. So we've really tried to help you with that. And we introduced this at World Tour by showing the planning ahead document. So you know what these bursts of energy can be. These little sugary desserts that are out there, those cupcakes, the sprinkles. So you can plan accordingly on your calendar for what's coming limited time offer wise, but then you can also build out each week and each month with a different product focus in your catalog, and what you're choosing to promote on social, what you're choosing to add into a project broadcast link, what you're choosing to talk about with your customers, or any follow-up or anything that you want to share. So like I said, these LTOs are a way to keep your customers engaged after the catalog launches, and it's also a really fun way to find new customers. So I saw a couple posts about, and I shared this earlier, I have customers who like Star Wars, or they like Beauty and the Beast, or they like both. What do I do? So think of that. This is opening the door to new customers that you may not know. So this is where referrals might come in handy. This is where it might come in to have your customers or your friends post, like when you see something or they buy it and they're doing an unboxing, if they're tagging you, if you're exposing your name to more people, if that's through an in-home party, a link, stories, TikTok, whatever it happens to be. But I wanted to go back really quick before I get too far ahead of myself, that correlation that we had between the meat and potatoes or the healthy protein and those veggies. I don't know about you, but I don't eat enough of my veggies. I really need to. And maybe if they were covered in ranch, I probably would. But I really like the sweet dessert. And so I was trying to tie this in, like, there's kind of been this negative connotation. There she goes. There she goes. Her name is Mabel. We call her Unstable Mabel. Hey, lady, knock it out. So George, my Sir George Harrison, likes to attack her, and he thinks it's really funny when she shrieks. It doesn't bother him when she does it. It just bothers us. So I'm just going to pet them both and hope that this is going to be all right. Anyway, what I was saying is there's kind of been this negative connotation between vegetables, and I didn't want people to tie in the thought of, oh, I don't like vegetables. I don't want to do that. So I didn't want to tie that to the catalog and then have people be like, oh, I don't want to promote the catalog. That's boring. I don't know. I've already seen it. I'm done. I'm bored. I just want the sugar. So then I thought, okay, what's a new correlation? What's a new thing that we could say where, eating healthy maybe doesn't always taste good. And so I don't want people to disconnect. So here's another perspective. Think of tradition versus surprises. So what I mean by this is I'm sorry if you don't celebrate Christmas. I'm certainly not trying to offend anybody. This is just the example that I thought in terms of a comparison. So on Christmas Eve, as long as I can remember, since I was a little kid, we were always able to open up a present on Christmas Eve. We know that it's always pajamas, always. That's the tradition, but we still love it. We get excited because we get to open up that present. We get to see it. We get to put it on. We get to share it. We get to wake up in the morning. And then that next morning, Christmas morning, that's the day of surprises. We know Christmas is coming. We know there's fun things coming. We're planning ahead for it. This really cool surprise that is going to give us this burst of energy and excitement. But we also really love those pajamas, and we're probably going to wear them a lot longer than just Christmas Eve. I still put on my Christmas pajamas like last week. It's fine because they're really comfortable and they're really cute. So think about that. You get your tradition that you still love, just like a catalog. It's that tradition. You can count on that steady, on cadence, regular scheduling of stuff. And then you also have the surprises of limited time offers. There's another one. Let's think Halloween. You know that spooky season comes around every single year. It's the tradition. It's a calendar. It's that rhythm. It's something you can count on. But each year, the surprise is that you get to do a different costume. And it's going to change it up. And you might get something new and snazzy. And you might decide, I'm going to be a witch again. And that's when LTOs maybe come out of the vault, but you want to add a new spin and new excitement to it. And maybe someone hasn't seen that costume before. So this is brand new to them, right? Or maybe, for Thanksgiving, I eat turkey, I eat stuffing, I eat mashed potatoes, and I love my pumpkin pie any time of year, really. But what if one year I made pumpkin cheesecake and I changed it up a little bit? I still get a little bit of the tradition, but I still get this pizzazz. So anyway, you get the idea of where I'm going with that. The one thing I will say with any kind of product, whether it's catalog or limited time offers, and trying not to overwhelm people with all of the things, you're picking your product, you're picking your person, you're picking how you're going to present it, and you're picking your perk. And I like alliteration. So if that drives you bonkers, forgive me. I will ask you for forgiveness instead of permission, because I just put it out there. But I've been talking a lot on my Tuesday webinars or Facebook Lives on Thursdays about how to pair product with people, because it's really easy to just look at all this cool stuff we have. And then if we're feeling overwhelmed, customers might be too, our team members might be as well. So how do we really get targeted in our approach with all of the products? So this could be looked at through the lens of a limited time offer, but this training is really focused on catalog. So think about that. There's this, oh, of course I didn't bring my catalog with me, but you guys probably all have one. It's in my backpack. But you think of, when you open up that catalog, there are pages and pages and pages of stuff. So how can you be very targeted in your approach to make that entire catalog last for 6 months? Are you promoting a different decor style? Are you promoting different product categories, different gifting opportunities for the seasons or holidays or teachers or nurses or moms or dads or grads? Any of these different things, that catalog, it's not just this glossy thing full of really cool stuff that we sell. That catalog is one of, other than yourself, and not that I'm calling any person a tool because that's mean, but other than yourself as your business tool, your catalog, hands down, is the number one thing I would recommend, because you're picking your product, you're picking your perfect person, how you're going to pair them at potential parties. I love alliteration. You're picking your presentation style. How are you going to do this? How are you going to share this? How can you style this in your own home if you have it? Or if you don't, take the picture, pop it in a frame and make it really pretty. You don't have to spend a ton of money and carry a lot of stock with this. You're picking your perk. What's the hook? Are you talking with someone strategically about purchasing? Or if purchasing is not within their budget, maybe they need to get some free and half price stuff. Maybe they need to start earning 25 to 32% back on what they're buying every time. Do they really love the light side and the dark side, and they can't be without it, but they also really love Squeeze the Day, even in the dead of winter? Yes, we need to talk about club, those kinds of things, and really looking for cues on who might be. So like, I know I'm going to do another LTO, Harry Potter, another licensing thing. You're going to put on your sorting hat and you're going to say, is this person in my customer house, my party house, my join house, my subscribed house? Who is the right person for this perk? Because there is always a perk. There is a discount. You have a Scent Warmer of the Month is always 10% off. You have a perk of discounted shipping in club. You have a perk of a half price item there. You have a perk of always get my bar. You have a perk of getting 25, well, or 20, I'm assuming you're hitting certified, 20 to 32% back on your purchases. And that's not even counting team bonuses. Your perk could be, I just want free and half price stuff. Your perk could be, I want a discount on my own stuff. So as you're looking through that lens and you're looking through the catalog, every page is designed to help you promote a feature, benefit, use, care, all of the things. And your product training guide is a very nice companion for everything that you have in that catalog. You have your features, benefits, use, care. You have a wealth of sales tips in there. So if you're not familiar with a particular product category, like you don't have any diffuser users because you don't use the diffusers. You're not an oil or diffuser person. So how do you promote it if you don't know and you don't share it and you don't know how it works? Maybe this is time to get a customer testimonial. Hey, diffuser user, anyone out there, what do you like most about them? And then start sharing and incorporating that into your promotion tactics. Or let's say someone asks you, what's the difference? I know I've seen you posting all these pictures of cleaning products, like it's bottles. Like, how do you separate or differentiate yourself from the bottles of cleaner I can get at Target? So do you know the difference between all-purpose cleaner concentrate and what the value is there? Because I dare you to find a really good cleaner that cuts through our stuff for less than $3 a bottle. So if you're, and that's what the concentrate, right? Because it makes 16-ounce bottle. Anyway. Or do you know the difference between like when you would use bathroom cleaner versus counter clean versus all-purpose cleaner concentrate? So that might mean that you need, if you haven't tried them and you haven't read the product training guide or you haven't read the product FAQs, it might be time to study up a little bit to familiarize yourself with these products. So if limited time offers aren't cutting the mustard for you and you really, really want to build your PRV consistently, sustainably, any time of year, regardless of a product launch and regardless of a budget, you have something to offer in this catalog. Okay. So think about what that hook is. Another thing that you can find in the catalog as well as the product training guide are lots of captions. These are post-ready, social-ready captions that just are begging to be shared. So looking through there on, I don't know, full cycle fragrance or any of these fun little taglines that you might find in the catalog or within the product training guide. It's also giving you style ideas. So if you see a picture in like Scentsy Snapshot, or you see a picture that someone took of a catalog product, or you're starting to maybe kind of take your own UGC, your own pictures and stage those, like using that inspiration instead of copy pasting or sharing that same one, can you recreate this in your own home? Like maybe you have a set staging area in your house where this is where you do all of your kitchen shots, or this is where you do all of your cleaning shots, or your bathroom shots, or your bedroom side table. This is where you're going to have all of those really pretty, beautiful warmers that are really good for any ambiance and decor style. So think about that, how you are expanding your own skills in how you're promoting the products. I'm also looking, I mentioned the style ideas, but also like fragrance combos, different, like, are you recommending, I'm a huge mixer, I'm a huge recipe mixer. And the way that I got to pair them better is I started looking at the notes and the top notes and recognizing what could be really complementary and what can smell really good together. And do I have bars over here? I don't, they're on the other wall. Anyway, but it's very scientific. You put a cube here, and you go like this and you see if it smells good together. So there's fun things that you could do there, like do recipes. Going back to the cleaning product thing, like if you're posting a picture of a cleaning bottle, they don't know what that does other than cleans. You're telling them it cleans, and you're maybe telling them what the price is, and you're maybe telling them how really, really, like, it just smells so good, like better than ammonia or bleach. It smells so good and it cleans really, really well, but they don't know how to use it. They're like, I could go buy this anywhere. This is just another cleaning product. So really how you're demonstrating the how-tos, and we've gotten so used to changing our wax or spraying our bed, like, hey, my beds are made and sprayed every day with Scentsy Fresh, or dog beds or blankets. So I think we get so used to what we just do on autopilot that we're not recognizing maybe those new customers who haven't seen it before. Believe it or not, there are still people who leave the wax in their dish for my mother for about 2 solid months, not realizing how to change her wax and how to dump it out, how to clean it. Does she use a cotton cleanup? Does she use cotton balls? Does she dump it back in? Like, what does she do with it? We've had really, really long, like almost 14 years later, we're still having discussions about how to change her wax and how frequently. It's fine. But you might have customers in the same boat, or you might have brand new customers who don't know, or their light bulb will go out and then they're terrified to tell you because they think somehow it's their fault for leaving it on all the time. And then they don't change their bulb. They just leave it turned off. And then one day they're at Walmart and they're like, oh, hey, I'm just going to get that wax because I'm so embarrassed and I don't know how to do this. So forget it. We don't want that to happen. We want to be that go-to for everything. Okay, so doing the demos will help. So now I'm going to really dive into, like, why are we focusing on the catalog? I know I've covered this ad nauseum already. It's always there. This is your sustainable, I can count on this reliability. But you also have, with that reliability, you also have a ton of variety that comes with it. Someone's yuck is another one's yum. And that's why we have over 80 fragrances. There is something for everyone in terms of style, decor, fragrance, pricing, all the things. Okay. It's easy to point to. It's really, really solid as long as you're comfortable with it and you know that sucker front to back. And the things are clubbable. The consumable items are clubbable. And that is a huge conversation. That's another training in and of itself. I mean, yes, LTO fragrances are clubbable too, but you think about like once your customers are really set and solid in what they're purchasing and what their favorites are, that is an easy conversation to have, especially if they're tight on budget. You get discounted shipping all the time. You get a half price item. Like you're buying this frequently for me all the time. Or if you like lilacs and violets any time of year, I want to have that in October. So really work your discontinued list with your catalog every transition season. You can bring the catalog up all the time. Like think about featuring a different fragrance family. As you're looking at your planning calendar, you have a fragrance family, you could have a product family, you could have specific, I don't want to talk genders or anything like that, but different demographics that you can focus on through. I mean, you could change this up and have a really robust schedule of how you're promoting and when. Really understanding our bundle and save options to understand that upsell. So bless my mother's heart. I'm going to use her again, but bless her heart. So I had a party open. And that woman, I tell you, I love her to bits, but I'm like, Lady Pants, just listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. She ordered 2 bars, two bars. No. So if someone says, oh, I really like these 2 fragrances, great. Do you want to save $1? Pick out another one. I'll get you $1 off. Oh, okay. So then they have 3 and they're like, wow, I really like this one too. Okay. You know what? I'm going to get 4. Well, if you add another one, I can get you a free bar. What? I can get a free bar? Yeah. So suddenly that 2 bar purchase turned into a 6-pack and they think that I gave them a really good deal because I got them a free bar. You increased your PRV and you had really good customer service and you provided that value for them. It's a win-win. So really being familiar and comfortable with using those bundle and saves to upsell, but also to not just increase your PRV, but you're increasing that value proposition for your customer. And they see you as trying to save them money and trying to provide that service. And that's what you're doing for them. You are trying to be a solution provider for your customers. Let's see, what else do we have on here? Kind of getting your customers to engage with the catalog a little bit more. I know there's been kind of a deviation between like, when do I send someone a catalog versus a product list or a showcase brochure? There's lots of different ways to get our entire catalog lineup in the hands and even under noses of your customers. And that really could be based on the number of customers you have and what your budget is. So if you're giving, like with your VIPs or your club subscribers, they may just have a club full of limited time offers or bring back my bars or something like that. And they may not know the catalog stuff. So you may want to send them one, but there's different reasons why you would send out a full-size catalog. Or is this for a brand new customer? Or if you're doing fairs and shows, maybe a product list is the way to go. If you have a lot of mailings and you're doing monthly mailers with samples, maybe the product list or the product sheet is the way to go, because you're getting 150 of them for $9 in the store. And then your showcase brochures, if you're doing fundraising or you need that glossy, really pretty, and that one's maybe not going to have the bundle and saves on there, so you're paying full retail. So that's a lot of times when they would take that for fundraising. But there's different ways for you to engage your customers with that catalog offering. So how you're implementing this is a regular part of your personal branding. You're not just selling LTOs. You are a Scentsy consultant. And that is a wealth of product at your fingertips. You have the physical catalogs. Like I said, you have the product lists. You also have like different ways to talk about club. So think of, and I had this in there, like if they really like LTOs, you could extend catalog products, or think of it as an extended LTO. It's just a 6-month long one. They just changed, every 6 months, but you're also directing them to your PWS. We have that shoppable catalog on there. So if they really like something, they like the LTO products, but they're also like, man, I really like this fragrance style that's in my club from an LTO. but I know that you have a recommendation for a really good fragrance that's also in a pod that they haven't tried before. They like this fragrance. Let's introduce them to a new category with that same fragrance. So think about how you're using the different product categories, the different product families with the fragrance families, how those work together, especially on that list at the back of your catalog that has a lineup of everything that's available in whichever fragrance, but really how to strategically use that. It's not just a quick reference. How can you take what your customers are purchasing and add to that, or introduce them to a new line that they may not be aware of? And some of you, this may be old hat. This may be like, oh yeah, I know this stuff. But some of you may not. What I found in the last few years with boot camp, and really just with anybody, but anyone who came in after March of 2020, I think sometimes that we've just missed these really strong building blocks or the basics to have a very strong foundation. So as you're trying to climb, it's not going to be unsteady. Okay. So this may be old hat for you, but for a new consultant, if you have new teammates, they don't know this stuff. They may not know. They may not be as nitty gritty in the trenches of catalog as you are, because all they've known are LTOs and flash sales. That's it. So how do you tailor this to them to really get down to those catalog sales? Another thing to keep in mind, I mentioned fundraising. You have the fundraiser opportunities, those clubs, those groups. Think of how the product categories can really help you here in terms of, I know a lot of people do scent circles or buddy clips or buddies. And before, when we had pets, not just in clearance, but in catalog, but working with different organizations and how you can give back there. Like I said earlier, with the existing customers, if they're just so used to buying wax and warmers, they may not really remember, or, they might forget what other categories are out there. I've been with Scentsy since October 2009. My family knows I've been with Scentsy for a very long time. They still are floored. It's like, I don't know if they don't listen or what, but they're like, you guys have laundry stuff? You guys have cleaning stuff? Of this? I'm like, yeah, I tell you these things. I give you these things for Christmas. Like, pay attention. Anyway, so your customers may be really, really in the same boat as my family members, and they may forget, or they may not know, because all they think about with Scentsy, they just naturally associate it with wax and warmers, because that's what we promote a lot. It's our hero product. It's our flagship, right? So it's up to you to get really comfortable with those product lines and promoting different things in different ways to introduce people. Because yeah, anyone can go to a box store. They can go to Target, they can go anywhere and get laundry products and cleaning products. And now they can get wax. And I'm sure it's just a matter of time before they find some way to make pods. But why is ours the best? How does ours stand apart from anything else that they can find? What's the problem that you're trying to solve for with our stuff? Let's see, what was another thing I had in there? Yeah, and just always talking about it. Like, we talked about this earlier about how it could get boring for you 6 months in. But again, with those customers, just because it's always there doesn't mean that it's boring or that nobody has heard about it. And sometimes we get so wrapped up in we're going to announce this thing on Thursday and we're going to promote this on Monday and it's going to go on sale and all the things. And that's the cycle and the rhythm that we have given you. But what's that cycle and the rhythm of the catalog? So that's where you have that freedom to really break up your social, your promoting calendar, your project broadcast campaigns, how you're reaching out to people to say, okay, I'm going to focus on like rustic, or I'm going to do like country chic, or I'm going to talk about coastal, or hey, it's summertime, I'm going to focus on this, these different types of fragrances. And I've loved seeing the posts when people are on the cruise. This is my coconut 6-pack, or this is my, tropical drink 6-pack. But think of ways to bundle things up and keep things fresh. Keep that 6-month catalog really, really fresh. So break up that promotion schedule. Your customers, like I said, they don't know it cover to cover. have them on hand in your mobile office. Always have some, whether it's showcase brochure, catalog, or a product list, whatever it is. When I'm talking catalog, I mean our catalog offering versus an LTO. So whatever is most budget friendly for your situation, whatever you're having on hand for your mailers, on hand, who you might be interacting with. Is it a postcard? Is it a Canva thing you've designed, or is it something you put on Photofy? Do you have a QR code? Whatever that looks like. How you're using the products and how you are highlighting your favorites. People are going to see that passion. When I talk about lilacs and violets, or that story behind the fragrance, and now my lilacs are in my backyard right now, and it reminds me of my grandma, that might sell a bar more than just a picture of it. So think about your storytelling element of how you're sharing it online, in person. Are you doing scent events? Are you just doing shoppable links? Are you still sending out borrow bags? Are you doing, hey, take this to work and just show it to the girls at lunch or something? You don't have to call it a party. We know this. You guys know this. You don't have to say that dreaded P word anymore. There are 11 billion different things that you can say that you're just getting people together to shop or to sniff or to smell or come check this out. They know. Okay, so just whatever you're calling them, online, on the go, in person, whatever you're calling parties, how can you add that storytelling element in any method or any modality that you're using? Another thing to consider, like kind of going back to the idea of bundling, or those 6-packs or the wax stacks or whatever you're calling it, hashtag wax stack. Think of how you can curate. And I know a lot of you do this already, where you're curating like a scent crate, or you're making your own whiff box. So if a whiff box sells out, like sometimes in the holiday season, we might have some that sell out, or we have to like swap out product one for another, depending on what's going on. Little Moose Buddy clip, I'm looking at you. How do you create different offerings? So if you're thinking of curated gift ideas for baby showers or weddings or birthdays, holidays, special events, like I said, teachers, nurses, moms, dads, grads, all the things, but you have this rhythm and this cadence because it's now tradition. We know these things happen every year. How can you take those catalog products and like plug and play into different bundles, different budget friendly options? Like I know a lot of you are doing like the car kits with products that we have from catalog. Those are catalog products that someone's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to put this car kit together. I'm going to pair a pod, a mini fan, and I'm going to put a car bar in there. Oh, wow. And then someone shared that and it sold like hotcakes. Or someone thought of doing the real estate baskets or the cleaning buckets using catalog product. So think about how you can combine those. And a lot of times you'll see these bundles pop up at Christmas or holidays, but you can do that for any holiday, for moms, dads, grads, Easter, birthdays, babies, all the things. How can you look at what we have in the catalog offering and put these bundles together for gifting? And then that becomes your system, your habit, your routine, your tradition every year, but you change out the product. That's where the surprise is. You're changing out that product, or you're changing maybe a color scheme, or you have your different branding or something like that. Maybe you love a favorite fragrance and you love lemons, and every part of your branding has to do with lemons. And maybe once a month you share something about that lemon element and you promote the heck out of Squeeze the Day. So pick something that is like that storytelling element, add it to bundles, do whatever as you're planning out your promotional calendar. Some other ideas that I have for you here, that you can use within the catalog in terms of like talking points, because it's not just like a magazine of glossy photos of our products. This talks about the Scentsy mission. So when you're thinking about trying to draw people into your organization and what it's all about, and I've shared this at boot camp a lot, like how you're connecting people to our mission. Do you know our mission statement? Budget, like family friendly, business opportunity, warm the heart, enliven the senses, inspire the soul. What does that mean? Do you know what that means? Maybe some part of that will really appeal to somebody. When you have your antenna out and you're looking for and listening for those cues for people who may need a perk of Scentsy, Maybe it's something within that mission or our values. Do you run your business in a generous way, an authentic way, a simple way? How are you using the catalog to simply and authentically share this with everybody? And you can be generous in your bundle and save offerings. You're trying to save them money. You're being generous with your host rewards. You have free and half price stuff. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Holy cow. That's amazing. And I have a perpetual party because so-and-so came to my party the other week. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Whatever you're calling them. I know I just said party. Maybe our charitable work with our cause products, maybe that's going to draw somebody in. So as you're thinking about what to promote and planning out your calendar and having talking points, go through each of those pages and really take some of these things out and how you can use that as a talking point. Or maybe that's your story focus for the day or your week or whatever you want to tie in with it, in addition to your regular personal stories that you're telling with the masses, because it's not always Scentsy all the time. You want to, build it up. You have with Box, you have Scentsy Club, you have explaining the Scentsy system. And sometimes people don't know that, especially if they're brand new. I interact with people a lot in town. I live 1 mile away from home office. And I still have people ask me when I go to get coffee or go to the grocery store, they see my badge or whatever, what's Scentsy? Really? We're 1 mile away. So they may not know, put your warmer in the dish, plug it in within a few minutes with my mom, how to change the wax. Holy Moses. Those kinds of things where they may not understand the systems, our fragrance delivery systems, wax and warmers, diffusers and oils, diffusers and pods, whether it's a water oil diffuser or an air with a fan. So lots of different systems that you can introduce them to, how to change your wax, how to clean. Can you use a little bit of counter clean with a, magic eraser and get rid of all the scuzz and the gunk so your wax actually smells better when you're warming it? Yes, ma'am. How you're using cotton cleanups, how you're cleaning anything, how you're dusting, all the things with your stuff. What happens if you have a waxident? Do they know? How do you know how to clean up a waxident? I'll tell you if you don't know. Share our lifetime warranty, the details about the products. And this is what I sometimes try to do on my Facebook Lives, is to not just show what the product is, but really go in for the detail. Like, this is hand painted. This is hand placed. This is premium materials. This is a numbered item. This is one of a kind. The detail and the thought that goes in painstakingly into all of these items. How our fragrances come together. So this is like fragrance education, like our fragrance 101, top notes, mid, base. When you have the questions all the time about how come this flashes off so fast? Well, it's because it's a citrus, and citrus tends to flash off really fast. But if you have anyway, that's another training. But any type of education you can give them, how our fragrances are tested for quality, the ability to last, descriptions of scent families, and how anosmia ties in. If they're used to always warming cinnamon and they can't smell cinnamon anymore, well, no kidding, Mary, we need to switch you over to a fruit or something like that. So looking at that, I don't know why I said Mary, I'm sorry if I offended anyone named Mary on tonight, but looking at on that fragrance wheel of something on the opposite side if they're experiencing anosmia. The always get my bar feature, huge perk anytime, especially that's when your last chance first glance comes into play, your discontinued list, your transition month. They don't want to be without their favorites, because look at what happened to Snowberry. Everyone thought Snowberry would be around, till the end of time. Guess who has it in her club? And that's not because I knew anything ahead of time. I promise you, I was like, oh my God, I can't be without Snowberry. But I know that if I have my club on a 3-month rotation, I'm going to get 2 shipments of it. And then it's going to be like the new catalog. And then I'll say, okay, it's safe. It's safe. It's good for another 6 months at least. So I can take that out and add something back in if I want. But if it doesn't come back, I'm keeping that in there. So you can get a little flexible and fun with this if you know what that schedule is. You know that your clubbers can have it on a 3-month schedule and they don't want to miss out, and don't risk it. Just lock it in. Don't risk it. Put it in there for now. It's going to ship to you 2 times in the next 6 months. And by that time, we'll know if it's going to come back in the next catalog. Okay, great. Thank you. You're the best. I love you to bits. Checking in with scent packs with your buddies. Do they need a new fragrance? Has that thing just been loved and warmed enough that they've now become a nosmic to it and they need a new fresh fragrance in their buddy? How often or how frequently do you check in with your buddy purchasers? When was the last time you checked in with someone who bought a buddy to see if they wanted to try a new scent pack fragrance? Maybe it's been a while. Give them a call, send them a text, find out. Let's see what else. The air purifier education, that's the big one that's going on right now with the extra air filter that comes in. Do you know that you need an extra half price item if you wanted to do the air purifier as a host item? So same thing with our diffusers. You would need that extra half price of like threshold within their sales. Scent pod description, usage, like going back to the different fragrances that are available in the different products. Do you know those, like the difference and the usage between a bar and a pod pack? How long is one going to last over the other? Do they have dogs? These little guys over here with their little wagging booties, knocking over the little wax, everything I have wax it in. So no, mama got smart. In the hallways, we have fans. Okay. And in kiddos' rooms, we would have fans because we don't want wax spilling all over the place. So do you know your customers well enough to make these product recommendations and to solve a problem for them? The difference between the premium and the deluxe diffuser in the style, in the price, in the amount of water that one holds over the other. So if they want this on all the time, they probably need that bigger style. But then if they get the bigger style, then they're also losing the design element by having the interchangeable pretty shades. So there's a trade-off, but do you know those trades? And can you make that recommendation for them? How to clean their diffuser. Do they know how to clean a diffuser? Do they know how to swap out their oils or clean that out between? Do they know the differences between natural oils and essential oils? So if you have your diffuser users, or maybe they're brand new ones and they want to try this out, do they know the difference? Does it matter? Do they care? Maybe not. Maybe they do. I don't know. The real life photo examples next to the staged marketing example. So one recommendation, Steffi Malbrough shared this years ago on a training where even if instead of using the flyers, she would still use them on a story or the carousel, like if you can upload multiple images on a like Instagram. But the first hero shot, that is a real life photo example, user generated content, UGC. That's the one they see first. And then after that, you could share the flyers. So they're not just getting bombarded with these. I'm not going to shop by a flyer, but I still want to know the information. But that hook is going to be that personal one. And then I'll get all the details later from the next little clicky. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? As far as body products, we don't talk about body products a lot. The Moisture Medley is hands down my favorite gift giving bundle. You can do the whole thing. You can split it in half and have the body products versus the hand products. That is a huge one for me, especially for Mother's Day. I give that a lot for my girlfriends, my sisters-in-law. That Moisture Medley is legit. But then speaking of that body line, like the moisturizing element with the aloe and the sunflower oil, that's different, or paraben free, these different items and taglines and information on ingredients, those could be a selling point for you. Knowing those ingredients on our cleaning line, our body line, just kidding. Like I said earlier about the gift recommendations, when you're trying to provide that solution, kind of look at it like if you were the consumer, if you are the customer, what makes you click on someone's link? What makes you stop scrolling? What makes you like maybe want to host a party for somebody else? You have the idea of what's in it for me. What do I get out of this? So with any type of behavior change, with any type of purchase, especially now, will it be worth it? Like, can I do it? Will it be worth it? And that's what it comes down to with your ability and your motivation to sell the products and to really focus on any product, whether it's LTO or catalog, but to really have that willingness and motivation to dive into this catalog and use it as it's intended. Really, really use it. There's so many things to promote and so many different ways. You can do it. The ability's there. I know you can. And it's going to come down to the motivation and kind of shifting that mindset between the LTO versus catalog, or LTO versus and flash sale. And I'm only talking to customers when we have a flash sale because I don't think they want to spend the money. And I know that there are customers out there who legit will tell you, I don't have the budget for this month. Okay, great. Fantastic. And I've also seen Kimberly Polita doing the Scent Circle a week. It's $3 a week. Is your budget $15 a month? You still want to have Scentsy, but you can only give 15 or pay, maybe I can only budget 15 to 20 bucks a month for Scentsy. Okay, great. How about a Scent Circle every week? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. But think of how many customers are doing that, and that will help you recoup cost over maybe an $80 flash sale purchase. So think of quality and quantity and how you're providing that consistency and that care for your customers. Really looking when they're saying, what's in it for me? Well, let me show you. And you're also saying, well, what's in it for me? You're going to get those PRV increases. You're also going to get that consistent, loyal customer, especially if they end up doing anything with club by any of your efforts. You have that recurring, consistent revenue that you can count on. So you can spend other time on income producing activities. You can spend other time on working with your team because you're not trying to chase down PRV at the end of the month. So think about that, how you can use this really as that tool as it's designed to do. Some other stuff to consider. Doing the breakdown of the host rewards. We used to do way back in the day, we did like hostess stacking. That might be something when your host, if they're having everything shipped to their house, ask if they'd be willing to take a photo of everything that they got and tag you in it. And then you share that on yours and like, look what she just got for free. Look what she just got for half price. This is crazy pants. All just because she shared a link with her friends on her Instagram. Oh, okay. I want that too. So it doesn't have to be this complex thing. It can be, take the complex and make it simple. How do you make it easy for your customers to use Scentsy? How do you make it easy for your hosts to want to do a party if you're not calling it a party? How do you make it easy for someone to want to join you and do this right alongside you? You don't even have to say the word join. You want to come do Scentsy with me? I think you'd be great. You want to come do this with me? It's so fun. You're going to love it. It doesn't have to be high pressure. It doesn't have to be spammy or smarmy or salesy, even though you're getting the sales. It doesn't have to be that way. It can still be full of that value. Bless you, Mabel. Let's see, what else did I have in there? I'm really using the catalog and the product training guide. One thing, and this is, I'm just going to say this, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying not to rely on us at home office to come up with a better LTO or to always do a flash sale. You guys are independent consultants. You're not dependent on us to provide a sale. You are provided with a lot of product year round in a catalog. And we also give you some really fun surprises with LTOs and flash sales too. So get creative. I would just challenge you to get creative, take charge, and start doing. Instead of, you know, I know sometimes we get into this analysis paralysis. Well, what if I did this? I could try this. I could do that. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Just do, and you can figure stuff out along the way. One thing I shared on Monday on the leadership call was like, sometimes people aren't seeing movement right away, so they get frustrated. They either give up or they try something else or go somewhere else or whatever. Because, you know, maybe the grass is greener over there. No, my friends, the grass is green where we water it. And we really want to water the grass of the catalog, because I'm telling you what, there's so many ways that you can grow with this catalog that may have been overlooked before. So again, build out your promotion calendar every month. If that's too overwhelming, take it week by week. Use that planning ahead document, fill in the gaps between the limited time offer releases, and then fill in those gaps with your catalog products that you want to promote, or the categories, the fragrance families, the different gifting ideas based on the time of year, seasonality, or holidays, special occasions. Use your customer testimonials. If you haven't tried that catalog product, use your network. Who has? Maybe your upline has, your sponsor director. You're in a ton of groups where everybody's sharing. Another thing is the hashtag Scentsy snapshot. You can use that and share that. You can use those images by doing that, by using that tag. Our social team will go on there and ask for permission if it's okay. And then you can absolutely share those out. And you don't have to carry the product. Or here's another idea in terms of like staging product. You can use it for inspiration, but also when your customers do place orders and you're packaging those up, you're taking it out of the box to do a quality control check anyway. Snap a photo, go put it in your staged area that you have set aside on your mantle or your kitchen counter. Snap a photo in that real life setting, and then box it back up, and it's great. It looks fantastic. And then wrap it up, put your bow on it, and call it good. So there's different ways to promote the product and share the product without you having to break the bank and feel like you have to have every single thing all the time. You don't. So I will close with a couple resources to be, I know I've talked so long. Thank you for sticking with me. I mentioned the catalog, of course, the product training guide. There's a really cool document out there called Reasons to Reach Out to Customers. Use the planning ahead document. The product training section, in the training section of your workstation, you can browse by topic, and in the product training, there's a whole slew of information on product training. You also have a lot of FAQs in there. And then a new thing we started this month, there's a document, May IPAs. And so I'm going to pull this down and share that with you now. Maybe, where's my window? Hold on. Oh, biscuits. I should probably get on the right page so I can show you what it looks like. This is really cool. Hang on one sec. There it is. Bloop. So you're planning out your calendar for what you're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever that looks like. But how you are spending your day and planning, if you're like, I don't know what to do, what should I know? I need to work on Scentsy today, but what do I do? So this ties in with catalog, but it's also just in general a really cool tool I wanted to introduce to you at the end of this. But how you are structuring your day, and how you maybe it gives you a little burst of inspiration of, what to share and when, whether that's LTOs or catalogs, but it kind of plots out your day a little bit and your week. But I also wanted to call your attention to this lovely little graphic here. You're always prospecting for your next customer, host, team member, or subscriber. You're sharing and you're following up. And this is an ongoing cycle. You're prospecting, you're sharing, you're following up. That is your sales training cycle. And one thing leads to another. The more you're following up, the more you're going to be introduced to new people and people who need new product and different solutions that you can provide. And then you're going to share that, and then they're going to purchase, and then you're going to follow up again. And it just has this cycle. So there's some stuff on here at the very bottom where it says daily. You're going to have at least one daily connected conversation to book, seller, sponsor. You're showing up on social media. You're sharing. And if you're not on social media, if you're sending a text message, if you're calling, that follow-up, you're responding. You're not launching it and leaving it. You're not just posting something and leaving it. Go back in, and who likes, who comments, go have this conversation. If it's a couple back and forth, send them a separate message. And then one thing too, I would just recommend daily, if you can, log into your news section just so you don't miss anything. Okay. I talked a lot. I think that's it. Oh my gosh. I was not looking at all on the chat. So if there's something I missed, Ree, please let me know.
I was going to ask you, do you have time for questions? If anybody has something that does anybody have, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask Sarah while she's here. I know there were so many amazing things. We took so many notes. I was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because my mind is going to be like, okay, then I want to do this, and then I want to do that. And I want to grab my catalog and go through it. So
and if something pops up in your noggin, like after today, I don't want to put you on the spot for questions too, but if you have questions, you can always email me, find me on Facebook, whatever you want. It's just Sarah Walker on Facebook, but then my email address is swacker@Scentsy. Most of us, other than Chuck, it's our first initial and last name @Scentsy.com for email.
It's not necessarily a question, but I am kind of curious, or I'd like to kind of put it out in the universe. Club people, I know Always Get My Bar is a huge benefit, but there are people who love, like my brother loves sea salt and avocado car bar.
Yeah.
And when it left, he was really bummed. I was like, well, Eddie, it's the bars, it's not the car bars. So I don't know if somewhere down the line, if it can expand into the universe to bridge out that program of Always Get My Bar and certain products. I know that's a huge undertaking, and the production of that would be like astronomical.
It is. And I wonder, we've had that question too. Definitely pop it in Idea Share, because we review that on a monthly basis, and everything that gets put into Idea Share, I'm here to tell you, we review that every month, and it gets disseminated out to the different departments based on the different topic or category that it applies to. So in this instance, like, and it might be like a limited offering. So you know how we have bricks that are available, and I'm totally spitballing, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm just saying, but it might eventually, if that's the call for it. And I've seen this with pods too. A lot of people asking for the pods if they're not wax users. In terms of production or how much we have, maybe it's not every single fragrance. Maybe it's like the bricks where you have like the top 20 bestsellers, and definitely, you know, sea salt and avocado was up there. But something like that. I mean, if people are really digging it and that's it, we're always looking for ways to innovate, and we're always looking for different things that we can try, at least like in phases. Like I said, with bricks, that's another perk of club. You can't get every single fragrance in a brick, but you can get this.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Questions, comments? Sing her praises?
Stop.
Whatever you feel. It was
Awesome.
really good, Sarah. I really feel
that,
inspired.
Sylvia. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say, thank you, Sylvia, for sharing the income producing activities calendar. And that's something new that we're trying. And we also have, on the second page of the planning ahead document, there's a deeper dive into the IPAs too. So open up, it's on the second page of the planning ahead May doc. So some ideas there too.
All right, I think that's it. Everybody's so excited. I think none of us are sleeping tonight, but we're so grateful for your time. Thank you for coming out, and thank you to everybody that tuned in to watch tonight. I hope we're all inspired. I hope we put it to work. I hope we're like just ready to go tomorrow. We share it with, if you have teenies, go on and share it. Everything that you learned tonight, turn around and pour it into your teenies, because this is really good stuff. So thank you again, Sarah. You are amazing.
Of course. Thank you for asking me to be on. And you guys, thank you. I know I talked a lot, and we were on for hanging out for an hour. So thank you for spending part of your evening with us. This has been a lot of fun. I hope it is helpful in some degree. So thank you for taking the time out for you and for your business. I think it's really going to make a difference, especially with that effort, the willingness to try, and the consistency is really going to move the needle.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Have a good night.
See you guys.